What most humans are avoiding in life is they want to avoid feeling bad, but they want to gain feeling good. And so, this is why so many people have this messed up relationship to feedback. They want to have good, positive feedback, but they want to avoid the negative stuff. And this is why people are stuck, scared. They don't take the leap to the next level, and they're afraid to truly go out into the world and be seen and be authentically themselves. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to deep dive on your relationship to feedback. And I'm going to show you a really, really powerful way on how to actually move from feeling stuck in this paradigm where you're trapped, people pleasing, and avoiding discomfort to feeling free right here, right now, within the next few minutes. I promise it's going to be really powerful, so stick around. And if this is your first time here on my channel watching my videos, I'm Coach Kacy. I'm a transformational coach. I combine the heart with the head. I combine spirit and energy and put them all together and create a profound experience where we can see this thing called the human experience from a whole new lens. So, buckle in your cosmic seatbelts and let's dive in. So, a big part of the human experience is that we want to feel recognized. We want to feel seen. We want to feel loved. We want to feel supported. And a lot of that comes from positive feedback from others, right? Like as a child, you were praised for doing good stuff. You were praised for getting good grades. On the other hand, if you did something not so great, you were punished. And so that energy, that experience lives inside of our bodies from that young age. And so as adults, we continue to perpetuate that cycle where we want, maybe at work, we put in more hours, we stay late because we want our boss to recognize that, hey, I'm kicking ass and I'm doing great. And if we don't get that recognition, then it turns into spite and it just doesn't feel fun anymore. And you don't want to do it because no one sees it. On the other side, you want to avoid punishment. So then you do the right things, quote unquote, and make sure that you just like stay in your lane and you don't mess up. We want to get it right. Either sides, right? The need to be approved and need praise and positive feedback. And then also the desire to not have negative feedback and avoid all this bad, quote unquote, bad feedback. They're both plaguing our humanity. They're both causing distress. Because if you really think about it, if you're living life for the praise of others and you're people pleasing, that's a really, really hard way of life because you're constantly living inauthentically trying to prove yourself. But on the other side, if you're avoiding judgment and you're scared of people seeing you and scared of them judging you and hating on you, then you're also not living authentically because you're just afraid of being yourself. So either way, you're at like this crossroads where it just feels like you don't know how to find that balance or that center. And so I want to share an interesting story with you that's going to help you see this in real life, right? And this is why I make these videos. It's not just to teach you concepts. I want to like tell you about my personal experiences because I think that is the best teacher. Living on planet Earth at this time, being a human myself, this is how I've learned a lot. And that's where I do a lot of my coaching from is personal experience combined with some, yes, powerful tools and knowledge, but personal experience. That is so, so powerful and invaluable. So, okay, so first I want to talk about negative feedback or quote unquote negative feedback because you'll see. Sorry. You'll see. Feedback is just feedback. But for the sake of the teaching right now, negative feedback. So the other day, I wrote an article. I'm sitting at the dinner table, and one of my friends says to me, "Oh, I really liked your article, but this is what I would have done, or this is what you could have done differently." And he just starts talking about all these things that I didn't ask for. I didn't ask if you would write it differently, or I didn't ask if what you would add. And I just remember getting really triggered. Like I didn't say anything externally. I didn't yell at him or tell him to shut up, even though I really wanted to. But I didn't. I just listened and I nodded. And this morning when I was journaling, I realized, wow, it caused a lot of anger and frustration within me because it was my inner child, my inner creator who felt so attacked and who felt like I'm not good enough. And really on the surface, it felt like they're attacking my work. But deeper, it was a personal attack. It felt like they are showing me and poking these holes in my worthiness, in my um, enoughness. And it was just like this realization of, wow, even though being on this personal development journey for more than a decade, there are still so many wounds to heal and so much to unravel about this inner being within me that just has this desire and this need to want approval from people and to not want to be judged. And so I realized that this morning and I thought, okay, I want to make a video about this because it's really important that we talk about this. And it's really raw. So it's real right now for me. So I felt like I was being judged and I just felt attacked and I didn't feel good. And I've experienced this in other capacities, whether it's in my relationship with my husband, I've experienced it in boardroom meetings, sales feedback, right? Like the plethora. It's like the experience or the circumstance can be different, but the feeling of invalidation remains the same unless we look at it and observe it. So that's one side of stuff where you created something or you did something and someone judged you for that. The other side of the experience is if you live for people pleasing or you live for the praise of others, it actually hinders your growth too. And so I have another story about that. So about 10 years ago, I started a YouTube channel just like this, very similar. And I was giving a lot of personal insights and wisdom. I was definitely much younger, much less experienced, but my experience still mattered. And I actually made a really big difference for people. And so much so that one day I was walking down the streets of downtown Toronto and someone recognized me. And my channel was blowing up. My content was doing great. And I was just having fun with it. And they said, "Oh my gosh, you're Kacy saying, and I'm so excited to meet you. And you make such a difference for me." All this stuff. They gave me this praise. And I remember feeling very like happy. I was like, "Oh wow, that's great." And then over the next several weeks, I felt so challenged in creating content. I felt scared. I felt afraid. I felt nervous. What kind of stuff should I create? What are they going to like? What are they not going to like? And I stopped being authentically me and I lost me. And what ended up happening was I was so scared. Like my body was so afraid of doing something that wasn't going to get their approval or trying to force myself to do something that I didn't really want to talk about, but I thought this will make them like me more. Because all of a sudden I was seen, I was in this limelight, and what I did, any reasonable person would do, right? I deleted my channel. I deleted the entire channel, all of it, and I just said, screw this, I'm not doing it. Because it was like the fight or flight response. My body froze up. So it's very interesting to see, right? Because it's like on one end, someone praised me, but then I froze and I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't have the capacity because I was so aware of all of a sudden that people are watching me and I just wanted them to approve of me. I wanted to do more of what would get that. And then I just like short circuited myself and that was it. On the other side, I have been through so many experiences where it's like I want to avoid the criticism where I'm creating or doing something or saying something and it's like, well, I don't want to be judged. So then I don't do something because I don't want to be judged. So I'm sure you being a human that's watching this, having the human experience, is probably going through this on some level or has gone through this in your life at some point. And I just want you to like think about this for a moment. Where in your life are you seeking validation or approval from others, whether it's at work, in your relationship, in your creation, in your business? And at the same time, where in life are you avoiding doing something because you don't want to feel like rejected or disapproved? So really think about this. And here's the next step. I'm going to give you a powerful action that's going to shift the way you look at this. But I'll tell you how I came about this first. No, actually, you know what? I'll tell you the sentence first. So this is the tool. So anytime you feel like you are in a circumstance where someone's praising you and you can feel yourself being elated, or you're in a circumstance where you feel yourself being judged, here's what your go-to is, okay? Thank you for sharing your experience of me. Your opinion does not determine my value. And let me just be really clear about this. You don't say this out loud to them. You don't like say it to their face, because I don't think that would end really well. Someone's like, I love your hair. And you're like, thank you for sharing your experience with me. Your opinion does not determine my value. Or someone's like, I hate you. And then you say that to them. This is more for you. This is an internal representation, an internal guidance. Because here's the thing, whether you are excited about someone approving of you or scared of someone disapproving of you, you are still basing your opinion of yourself and your worth on them. And that is really dangerous. You don't want to give that power to somebody else, because they could do whatever with that and you're essentially a puppet for the rest of your life. So this is extremely important that you remember this. Put it on a sticky note at your computer, write it in your journal, put it on your mirror, everywhere. And for the next 7 days, I want you to say this to yourself, just out loud. Just practice it. Practice being in the energy of just like, I'm not defined by other people, whether they love me or they hate me. I am defined by me, my values, my authentic truth, my connection to my spirit. And this is so important during this time in the world, because people's opinions are going to change every single day. One day they could love you, one day they could hate you. And if I know you, you are someone who wants to make a difference in the world. And if you try to base your your external representation of how you show up in the world and how you serve based on how people respond to you rather than what you authentically want to do, that's going to lead you down a trap. And this is something I'm conscious of every day, working with so many clients and now doing more content. I'm like, I just want to be aligned and connected to my authentic truth. I've done a lot of the things for other people my entire life, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be in that ship anymore. I want to be in a place where I feel connected to my authenticity. And if that means I say something that is my truth and people love me for it, amazing. But if they don't like me for it, that's okay too. And of course, we want to be respectful and harmonious in the sense of we don't want to like talk shit to people, but you still also don't want to um, change the way you act based on the approval or disapproval of others. And this is something that's like a muscle that we're going to keep needing to flex our entire lives because we're around humans and we are human, right? But once you start flexing this muscle, especially with this tool, thank you for sharing your experience with me. Your opinion does not determine my value. You're going to start to see a lot of shifts and a lot of changes in your body, how you relate to the world, how you relate to yourself, to your creations. So I invite you, take this as a powerful tool and apply it in your life today. And as you start to apply it, you see results, or maybe it backfires and you don't. It's an experiment for you, right? So try it out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to know. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did it relate? Or did anything land for you? Would love to know your insights. And as always, keep coming back to this channel for more awareness, more insights, and more stories about how to move from your head to your heart, because that's what I'm all about. Really honing in on that connection, because so many of us live in our heads and we make choices that we don't want to. So this channel is your home and your space to learn more about how to connect to you, your truth, to your heart center. All right. So if you like this video, please share it with someone that could benefit from it. Remember, someone else's opinion does not determine your value. You are inherently valuable and you're a divine being of God and a child of God. So just remember that, my dear friend. All right. Subscribe, please. I love you. I honor you. And I'll talk to you soon.